Today I'm making a bunch of collage art with materials created by Cathe Holden. Cathe is a talented artist who uses vintage images to create really cool design. Stick around till the end of the video and I will show you how you can win one of the postcards that I create today. Hi everybody, Marguerite here. I am doing collage art today and I am using materials made by Cathe Holden. If you're not familiar with Cathe, Cathe has been collecting vintage materials for years. She has her inspired studio in Petaluma, California, where she holds workshops, and her space is absolutely amazing. And she has this real talent for looking at vintage images and creating new designs using them. She has worked recently with Moda fabrics, and if you're familiar with quilting and the sewing world, Moda fabrics is top. Their materials, their fabrics are some of the best in the quilting world. Her designs are super vibrant, they are fun, they are beautiful, the colors are amazing. And she also has a great love of postage stamps, which is something that I love and appreciate. Her designs on fabric with postage stamps are amazing, particularly because she designed those images herself for the fabric. So if you're into sewing and quilting, definitely check out Moda fabrics. Now she's taken those designs and has turned them into different things connected with paper products, which is great for us collage artists. She's got some loose die cuts, stickers, cling stamps, stencils, and pattern papers. So let's head over to my desk and I will show you how I am putting these postcards together. So these are some of the paper products that I'm going to be using, made by Cathe Holden. I'm mostly going to be starting with some paper pads, and I have my own pattern paper 12 by 12 that I've turned over onto the white side and drawn with pencil, outlined where the postcards are going to be. So I have these pattern paper blocks that I look through. One is in a neutral and this second one is in blue and green colors. And I just kind of look through them as well as my own papers to think about what I want to use for a background. So here I'm going to start pulling out about 3 or 4 pages out of these neutral colors, and they're just pieces I think would go together, work together, and I will tear them into bits and just use them for the background, the first layer of what I make on this masterboard. So I don't have a particular plan of what I want to do. I want to just put down papers and see what happens. So the thing I have in mind, or I guess I could say it's my motto, is to put papers down and then fix them up. So I'm just getting a whole bunch of scraps, literally scraps, making scraps, and using them as a foundation for the background. In these pads of paper, it's 6 inches wide, and since each of these postcards is 6 inches wide, it makes sense that I can separate and do one side of 6 inches and another side of 6 inches. Now my backgrounds are glued down, and in addition to these little pieces of die cuts, I also am going to be using some postage stamps. I got a bunch of postage stamps from Sharon Wall, who sent me a package of postage stamps, and what I did was I created these little sets of 4 stamps each. So I want to use those in addition to the die cut pieces. So I've poured them out next to my background page, and I am just pulling things out and keeping in mind that I want to use those purple postage stamps. So looking at die cut pieces that are going to go along, going to match with those postage stamps. I'm also taking a few scraps, paper scraps from my stash, and then cutting them down and incorporating them into the master board. Again, I don't have anything in mind. I'm just playing around with placement, just seeing what's going to work and what doesn't. There are 6 postcards on a 12 by 12 paper, and I'm using 6 sets of those purple postage stamps. In addition to that, I want to use at least 1 die cut image on each postcard. So now I'm starting to really pay attention to placement and to start to glue things down. Mostly I'm gluing down still the background papers, so I'm not gluing down yet the die cut pieces. Okay, so the background papers are glued down, but the die cut pieces are not. Because before I glue down the die cut pieces, I want to add some rubber stamping underneath those die cut pieces. So these are clear cling stamps, and I have these acrylic blocks. So I put one of the stamps on the acrylic block, and I've pulled out inks that I think are going to go with the images, the die cut images, or the postage stamps. So I've pulled out pink, and I pulled out blue, and I think I pulled out a red also. So sometimes I like to stamp on a scrap piece as a test first, and then I can tell what the ink is going to look like on the paper, and I can also tell if it's the correct placement for something. I can also use that little scrap and just kind of fold it or tear out the tiny little piece that I need and use that as an additional layer. So here I'm just moving it around, finding the right placement that I think is going to work best. Now I want to use the red because in the top right I have that die cut piece with red flowers on it. So I wanted to match it a little bit. So now I'll just tear it out and then place it right along with the die cut piece that's got the red flowers on it. Now I have another stamp, a different stamp. This one's kind of like a divider. It's a decorative divider. And I have some scraps with a lot of white space on them. So these are book pages just with white space. It was a page from a poetry piece, and so there was a lot of blank space on that. And I liked printing, or I like stamping on those papers because it's a little bit aged, but it's not very old. Now I'm going to use a little bit of green. I'm trying to pull out the green in one of those die cut images, so I just have an ink that will help to bring attention to that green, but to not really draw too much attention. Okay, now I think I'm ready. I'm going to glue everything down. Now I've run my hand across everything to make sure it is all stuck in place. And with my rotary cutter, I can then go ahead and measure out, make sure that I am following the lines exactly, and then cut down my 6 postcards. So now I'm going to look through them. I'm kind of bending them. I'm having a really close look at everything, making sure that everything is stuck on properly and seeing if there's some gaps or some space where I could add additional elements. But first I want to take care of the back side. So I have these stickers that are specifically used for creating postcard art. So I'm using some of the stickers from the collection to decorate the top of the postcard. I could actually use washi tape. That would be another good idea to use. Now I'm just using a rubber stamp to decorate it a little bit. So now here are my 6 postcards, and I want to tell you about my postcard giveaway. In addition to the 6 that I made an additional 6 more, so I've got 12 total. And if you are interested in winning one of these, I'm going to pick 12 winners. If you answer this question, when was the last time you mailed a postcard? So think about your answer and write it in the comments for this video. I will pick 12 random people and I will email you to let you know that I've chosen you and ask for your mailing address. And then I will mail you one of my postcards. Good luck! Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.